Meet James. He's 29, works as a teacher, earns £32,000 per year. He's been renting a flat in Birmingham for 4 years, paying £850 per month. He's saved £15,000, his entire deposit for a house. He wants to buy a £200,000 flat. He needs a £20,000 deposit 10%. He's £5,000 short. 3 years ago, James would have qualified for Help to Buy, a government scheme that topped up his deposit. But Help to Buy for existing homes ended in October 2022. So what are his options now in 2026? Here's the good news. There are still several government schemes that can help James and you. Get on the property ladder with a smaller deposit, a lower mortgage, or even a discount on the purchase price. In the next 13 minutes, I'm going to explain every first-time buyer scheme available in the UK in 2026. Shared ownership, first homes, lifetime ISA, deposit unlock, and more, including how much you can save, who qualifies, and the 5 biggest mistakes that cost first-time buyers their dream home. Let's get into it. First, let's clear up the confusion. Help to Buy ended. The original Help to Buy equity loan scheme, where the government lent you up to 20% of a new build property, closed to new applications in October 2022. What happened? Hen 2013-2021. Help to Buy available for all homes up to 20% equity loan. 2021-2022. Help to Buy restricted to first-time buyers, new build only, October 2022. Scheme closed to new applications. So if you're watching this in 2026, Help to Buy is not available for new purchases. Any video telling you otherwise is outdated. But here's what most people don't realize. Several OTHR schemes replaced Help to Buy and are actively available right now. Let me walk you through each one. The main schemes available in 2026 are 1. Shared ownership. Buy a share, rent the rest. 2. First homes. 50% discount on new builds. 3. Lifetime ISA. 25% government bonus on savings. 4. Deposit unlock 5% deposit mortgages. Buy with smaller deposit. 5. Right to Buy for council tenants. 6. Own Your Home scheme, regional schemes. Let's break down each one. Shared ownership is one of the most popular schemes for first-time buyers who can't afford a full deposit. How it works. You buy a SAR of a property, typically 25%, 50%, or 75%, and pay rent on the remaining share to a housing association. Real example. Property price, £200,000. You buy 50% share, £100,000. You need 10% deposit on your share, £10,000. Mortgage needed, £90,000. Rent on remaining 50%, typically £275, 3% of unsold share per year, £275/month. So instead of needing £20,000 deposit and £180,000 mortgage, you need £10,000 deposit and £90,000 mortgage. Your monthly costs are mortgage plus rent, but your upfront deposit is halved. Who qualifies household income under £80,000 or £90,000 in London? First-time buyer, Oregon used to own but can't afford to now. Can't afford to buy a suitable home on the open market. Must be at least 18 years old. Pros lower deposit needed 5 to 10% of your share. Smaller mortgage easier to qualify, can staircase. Buy more shares over time, available on new builds and some resales. Cons. You pay rent and mortgage. Service charges can be £100, £300/month. Staircasing can be expensive valuation fees, legal fees. Selling can be complicated. Housing association has first refusal. Properties are often leasehold with 9, 1, 2, 5-year leases. Shared ownership isn't perfect, and it's not for everyone. But for people who are priced out of the open market, it's often the only way to get on the ladder. The key is understanding the total monthly cost before you commit. First Homes is a relatively new scheme launched in 2021, and it's powerful if you qualify. How it works. You buy a new build home at a 50% discount off the market price. The discount is permanently attached to the property, so when you sell, the next buyer also gets the discount. Real example. Market price, £250,000. Discount, 30%. You pay £175,000. Deposit needed 10%. £17,500 versus £25,000 at full price. Mortgage needed £157,500 versus £225,000 at full price. That's £67,500 LESS mortgage, saving you hundreds per month in payments. Who qualifies? First-time buyer household income under £80,000, £90,000 in London. Must be a key worker NHS, teacher, police, military OR, meet local connection criteria. Property must be a new build price cap. £250,000, £420,000 in London after discount. Pros, massive discount 3050%. Works with standard mortgages. Discount is permanent, good for future buyers too. Cons, new build only limited availability. Key worker or local connection required meant. Price caps limit what you can buy. When you sell, you must pass on the same discount. First Homes is excellent if you can find a qualifying property in your area. Check with local developers and councils. We covered the lifetime ISA in detail in Video 02 ISA Explained, but it's worth a quick reminder because it's one of the most powerful first-time buyer tools. Lifetime ISA Recap, available to ages 18 to 39. Save up to £4,000 per year. Government adds 25% bonus £1,000 max per year. Must be used for first home up to £450,000. AOR for retirement after age 60. Real example, if you're 30 and save £4,000 year for 5 years, your savings, £20,000 a government bonus, £5,000 toward, £25,000 toward your deposit. That's £5,000 free from the government, just for saving. The LISA combines brilliantly with shared ownership and first homes. You can use your LISA deposit PLUS, a scheme to maximize your buying power. Important. You can't use LISA and Help to Buy together, but since Help to Buy is closed, this isn't an issue anymore. Now let's talk about 5% deposit mortgages. One of the biggest barriers to buying is the deposit. Here's the good news. You don't need 20% anymore. 5% deposit mortgages. Most major lenders now offer mortgages with just 5% deposit. Nationwide, Barclays, HSBC, Halifax, Santander all offer 95% LTV mortgages. Interest rates are higher, typically 0.5 to 1% more than 90% LTV, but it gets you on the ladder. Real example. Property, £200,000. 5% deposit, £10,000. Mortgage, £190,000. Monthly payment, 25 years, 5.5%. £1, 167 month. Compared to 10% deposit, N deposit, £20,000 monthly payment, £1, 107 month. So you save £10,000 up front but pay £60 more per month. Deposit Unlock Scheme. This is a newer scheme where the government or housing association provides an equity loan like old Help to Buy to boost your deposit to 1520%. Currently limited to new builds only, but more lenders are joining. Check with major developers like Barratt, Persimmon, and Taylor Wimpey. They often run deposit unlock promotions. Right. The 5 biggest first-time buyer mistakes that cost people their dream home, or thousands of pounds. Mistake number 1. Not checking eligibility before falling in love with a property. I see this constantly. Someone falls in love with a shared ownership flat, puts in an offer, gets accepted, then finds out they earn £2,000 over the income limit. Deal falls through. Months wasted. Before you start viewing, check your eligibility for every scheme you're considering. Use gov.uk, talk to a housing association, speak to a mortgage broker. Mistake number 2. Not understanding the total monthly cost. Shared ownership looks cheap because of the low deposit, but you're paying mortgage and rent and service charges. Real example, mortgage on 50% share, £450/month. Rent on remaining 50%, £275/month. Service charges, £200/month. Total, £925/month. Compare to renting the same property, £850/month. You're paying £75 more per month to own. That might be worth it for long-term equity, but you need to know the real number before committing. Mistake number 3, using a LISA incorrectly. If you use your LISA to buy a property over £450,000, or you're not a first-time buyer, you lose the 25% bonus and pay at 25% withdrawal penalty. That's a double penalty. £1,000 bonus lost plus £250 penalty equals £1,250 gone on a £4,000 contribution. Read the LISA rules carefully. We covered this in the ISA video. Mistake number 4. Not getting agreement in principle before viewing. Without an AIP, estate agents won't take you seriously. Sellers prefer buyers who can prove they can get a mortgage. Get your AIP before you start viewing. It takes 15 minutes and makes you a serious buyer. Mistake number 5. Skipping the survey on a new build. But it's brand new! Doesn't matter. New builds have defects, snagging issues, poor workmanship. Get a RICS survey. Budget £300, £500. It can save you £5,000, £20,000 in repairs. New builds also come with a 10-year NHBC warranty, but that doesn't cover everything. Get your own survey. Avoid these 5 mistakes, and you'll be in a much stronger position as a first-time buyer. Here's the secret that successful first-time buyers know. You don't have to use just ONI scheme. You can combine them for maximum advantage. The Power Combo. Step 1. Open a lifetime ISA at 18 to 39. Save £4,000 year. Get £1,000 year government bonus. After 3 years, £15,000 savings plus £3,750 bonus equals £18,750. Step 2. Use shared ownership or first homes. Reduce the purchase price or your share. Lower mortgage needed. Step 3. Get a 95% LTV mortgage on your share. Even smaller deposit needed. Monthly payments manageable. Real example. James the teacher, age 29, earns £32,000. Saved £10,000 in LISA plus £2,500. Bonus equals £12,500. Finds shared ownership flat, £200,000. Buys 50% share, £100,000, 10% deposit on share. £10,000 uses LISA mortgage, £90,000 at 5.5% equals £552/month. A rent on remaining 50%. £275/month service charges. £150/month. Total £977/month. Compare to renting, £850/month. But James is building equity, not just paying rent. After 5 years of staircasing, buying more shares, James could own 75% and be in a much stronger financial position. That's the power of combining schemes. It's not perfect, but it's a path to ownership that didn't exist 10 years ago. Now let's talk about your action plan. How long does it take to buy your first home using these schemes? Saving deposit with LISA, 2 to 4 years depending on income. Getting mortgage approval, 2 to 4 weeks. Finding a shared ownership or first home's property, 1 to 6 months legal process conveyancing, 8-12 weeks. Total, 2.5 to 5 years from starting to save to getting keys. For some, it's faster. For others, slower. But the key is starting. Every month you delay is another month of rent that doesn't build equity. Now let's wrap up with your action plan. Right, so here's your action plan to become a first-time buyer in 2026. Step 1. Open a lifetime ISA today. If you're 18 to 39, open a LISA immediately. Even if you only save £100/month, the 25% bonus is free money. Use a stocks and shares LISA for better returns. Step 2. Check your eligibility for schemes. Use gov.uk's eligibility checker. Check shared ownership, first homes, and local council schemes. Know what you qualify for before you start viewing. Step 3. Get your finances in order. Check your credit score, video 04. Pay off credit cards. Build a 3-month emergency fund. Lenders look at all of this. Step 4. Get an agreement in principle. Speak to a mortgage broker who specializes in first-time buyer schemes. Get your AIP before viewing properties. Step 5. Start viewing properties. Focus on shared ownership and first homes properties in your budget. Be realistic about total monthly costs. Step 6. Get a survey and legal advice. Never skip the survey. Use a solicitor experienced in shared ownership or first homes. The legal process is more complex than standard purchases. If you follow this plan, you could be a homeowner within 2 to 4 years, even on a modest income. That's not a dream. That's a plan. If this video helped you, please subscribe. Every week I'm putting out videos exactly like this one. UK-specific money advice that actually works. Hit the bell too, so you don't miss the next one. And when you're ready, this video right here about ISAs is a great next watch, because the lifetime ISA is one of the most powerful tools in your first-time buyer arsenal. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.